#1 on the interweb. You guys know what we're up to. What up, guys? Follow him over on Moshinobi. Oh, I'm no longer. Pardon me, guys. Vast mistake. I'm no longer Ross X. I'm Ross Wick now again for the. I think for the third time because we did 3. We did 4 as well, guys. So I think this is our third John Wick review.
It is, yeah. It is, yeah.
So yeah, guys, just some quick before we get into John Wick Chapter 2, Keanu Reeves news, John Wick news, Chad Stileski. Me and guys both have a few updates in the John Wick verse of several new projects. Some PXF news before we start off. So Skate to Hell, Sean C. Phillips. You guys saw us review Desert Fiends when I crowdfunded that. Is coming soon. So this is going to be a big one for PXF. We're going to be pushing this hard. So definitely get ready for that. You can see the trailer over on Sean's channel. And so where was I going with this one? No, let's go back to our notes, back to square one. So I think pre-orders are open on Amazon to DVD this time around, and I think it drops March 3rd. But we'll get those links over to you, Pixie, and have that verified. So look out for Skate to Hell. We're going to be promoting that when the hard copies drop, and then obviously we'll be in streaming at some point. Camera X out now. You guys can go check out the interview with Lauren Lepre. It's been on the channel several times now, but obviously him and I EP'd Camera X to KAP. Also check out that short. The trailer's on my channel. The short is on my channel as well as the main trailer. What up, Pixie? Is over on Average Superstar TV. So please subscribe to that channel as well. That's Lauren's channel. Free on Tubi. So what we're asking, if you guys want to help out the channel, help out PXF, and help out Average Superstar, is go pop onto Tubi. You can pretty much make a account for basically free, logging in with your Gmail or whatever other email you use. And then if you could watch list Camera X and drop it a like, that will help us pump us up in the recos. That's really all we're asking for. Like and sub the trailer, share that, like the movie free on Tubi, and share that if you like. And if you know anybody that does blogs or movie reviews, that would help out as well. We're trying to get Camera X reviewed. If they want to talk to Lauren, he's obviously writer, director, one of the lead actors in the film, or they want to talk to myself and Lauren and, talk about the production perspective as well. Definitely open to doing interviews for that. Thank you, Pixie. Appreciate it. So Skate to Hell, Camera X, and then when we have the Crow Days of Sodom update, we'll definitely give that to you guys first and foremost. The way I heard it, Cody is dropping the final trailer really soon. You can go check out me and Gaz's reaction to that. I think the trailer reaction we did with Gaz, and then they had a deleted scene, an exclusive scene they dropped, a little scene leak, so we reacted to that as well. I feel like there was one more thing, Gaz. Days of Sodom. And The Thing Expanded. If you follow The Thing Expanded on socials, Instagram, Twitter, X, whatever you consume anti-social media on, just follow The Thing Expanded pages and drop them a like and you'll get the updates. I think they're opening up pre-orders, I think it is, guys, in 2 or 3 days, a 4-day countdown. So anyway, we've talked about this in depthly, but you guys have seen me and Gaz do The Thing review. Love The Thing community. I think that's one of the most intelligent film communities in all of sci-fi. So we definitely want to do more for you guys. Me and Gaz are looking to get that prequel done for you in October. Hopefully The Thing Expanded. If you don't know about these guys, that they do horror sci-fi documentaries, I think Creator VC, I think, is the company. I'd love to get one of these guys on the channel, guys. I think they are going to do a media run, so I'll reach out just because they have a big staff, obviously, production dudes and co-directors, all that such. So if we can get anyone to come talk to us,
that would be sick.
The Thing Expanded, because this is going to be the authority documentary on The Thing.
Yeah.
If you want to get yourself familiar, what I would say is go check out Aliens Expanded. I think it's either 5 or 6 hours in-depth, deep dive breakdown of everything with the movie Aliens, which I think has 100% on online reviews, guys. It's one of the only movies with 100%. Obviously James Cameron, obviously Sigourney Weaver. So I mean, if you don't know what the movie Aliens is, you're probably on the wrong channel. Me and guys are just keep it 100% real with you guys. But if you never heard of it, go check out the trailer. Maybe cop yourself a Blu-ray. But I would say start with Aliens Expanded to get a flavor for what those Creator VC documentaries are like. And you'll get a good idea for what The Thing Expanded, which is going to be, which I saw most of the rough cut. Honestly, the rough cut was amazing. I was blown away by some of the names that they interviewed. Just big name celebrities that are like Thing super fans, as well as, obviously Carpenter's in there. I don't think they have Russell, but I mean, that's like a tall order, right? Like you don't just call up Kurt Russell. We'd like to interview you for a documentary, even if it is a movie he did do. That might be a stretch, but it's got John Carpenter in there. I think they talked to Keith David. I want to say rest in peace to several of the cast members who have passed, but I think they talked to like the majority of surviving cast members. Not to mention they talked to production people. I think that special effects guy passed away, guys, RIP, but they probably talked to some other dudes that worked with him that were in production. And obviously me and Gaz big on, practical effects as well as Lauren. So yeah, we want to most likely cover the Thing expanded for you guys, and hopefully the Thing prequel. What up, Jeff? Obviously there's the Thing Reloaded, which is on Steam now, so check that out, guys. Anyway, didn't mean for the John Wick chapter 2 review to devolve into the Thing stuff, but we just want to say that me and Gaz will be covering a lot of that stuff too. So basically those are the things we got coming up. Obviously Zodiac Files episode 5, the Lake Herman Road ambush. It is in post-production now, so as soon as I have an update in a month or two, I'll give that to you guys. Ideally, if you want to support the main series and the channel, Z-Files, best thing to do is join the membership, or you could join over on Patreon, and then you'll get 24-hour early access to episode 5 and episode 6 when they drop them. As always, you can sub over on Gazzy with Mosh Shinobi, and follow me on twitch.tv/PlanetXGames. That's where me and Gaz will be doing the ninja stuff, the beat 'em ups, the action shooters, John Carpenter's Toxic Commando. I have that demo up there now. A lot of beat 'em ups coming out. So yeah, we haven't been doing much on our streaming side, but me and Gaz will get it in the mix. There's a lot going on, guys. Sorry. It's not everything all at once, but it's when we can balance it.
Yeah, we've said it before. There's that much going on behind the scenes, and there might be people who sometimes think, well, what are you guys doing with the PXM channel, aka Mosh Shinobi? And it's just, we like to focus on our main area and then whatever we think is appropriate. So we will get to that in time. There's just only so much we can do between the two of us.
Mind you, we're ramping up. We just came off our winter break. We literally just came back. What was it, last week with the Warriors? And you know what I'm saying? So we're kind of just bouncing back, guys. So John Wick Chapter 2, one of me and Gaz's favorite action series of all time. And then A Clockwork Orange next week, one of my favorites. I think I'm a bit more of a fanboy of it than Gaz is, but I know, Gaz, you respect the filmmaking.
Heck yeah.
I assume you like some Kubrick,
Yeah, of course.
Being one of the best directors in the world.
Yeah, no, I don't like anything. I don't appreciate his work whatsoever.
Yeah, some of the best films in the world. Yeah, there's things you could have done better right now, said no one ever. All right, guys.
Yeah, I'd prefer Disney to go back and do their version of his movies,
PG-13 Kubrick, not something I've ever heard anyone ask for, Given Clockwork was banned in your country for like 30 years, so like
Clockwork Mouse.
Don't give them any ideas, guys. We've got our hands full with Marvel and Star Wars. I don't want Darth Disney, messing up the Kubrick verse, some sort of Space Odyssey sequel in Fantasia, you know what I mean? So let's do this, guys. John Wick Chapter 2. Okay, well, let's do like wet their whistle, guys, with a little bit of the Wick stuff, and then I know you can you'll come in with like your updates for the upcoming news. So the John Wick video game sequel is out. I really like this company, Saber Games. I was just talking to Gaz about them yesterday. So they're the studio that's created the John Carpenter's Toxic Commando game, which is like a zombie game, which is sick, like an original game. Carpenter doesn't have any movie about it, but it's like the first Carpenter branded video game. Well, we're back to Carpenter. We just got off the thing. Oops, sorry, guys. And then they're also doing a really good job with like the movie game. So they're doing the Hellraiser revival, which looks really good. I'm a big Hellraiser fan. And then they're doing Turok Origins, but they're also doing a John Wick game. The trailer just dropped for the PlayStation Expo. I don't know. I don't even know what the event was, guys. Sorry, guys, but I know it was a big PlayStation.
It dropped somewhere.
Where they the PXF cream of the crop, where they announced like the upcoming, whatever, quarters and such. They dropped a John Wick trailer. Looks awesome. Looks exactly like the movie. So Gaz and I will very likely be playing that when it drops and streaming it for you guys. Obviously, the last film that came out was Ballerina, which was after John Wick Chapter 4. And then here me and Gaz are talking John Wick Chapter 2. So anything else before we get moving, Gaz?
No, I'm just ready to go straight into it. News on John Wick 5, a possible spin-off, and John Wick 6 later.
Yep, that, and then I'll briefly mention the word on the street is an animated. I thought it was going to be a series, but last I heard it might just be a standalone, but using Wick's voice, obviously. We don't know if it's Keanu's voice in the game, but like Chad Stileski was involved with the game, so how would the director be involved without the lead actor?
Yeah.
Like
John Wick 6, though, I know people think, well, was he on about like 6 when I haven't got 5 out? But 6 is something I'm going to enjoy sharing tongue-tied, sharing with you, Ross, when we get to that.
I'm interested, but like he said, his knees were messed up for 4, so I just wonder what shape Keanu is going to be in after. They said 5 is going to be the craziest thing they've ever made, so I'm expecting his knees are going to have some wear and tear.
I think when you hear about 6, though, I think you're going to be blown away. I really do.
Interesting. Hey, also while we're on it, an actor that Gaz is big on that I think is a Boston legend, so to speak, is not from Boston. He's an American Boston guy, so to speak. Donnie Yen's Kane spinoff, which me and Gaz talked about. And again, I don't want to see a million John Wick universe spinoffs, but since the guy is such a talented actor and he's arguably top 5 in the martial arts genre, and the character is awesome, and then we heard that they were shooting it in Hong Kong, so it's getting really hard to criticize this film, guys. It's going to have some sick director.
Well, look, there was reservations about Ballerina, and Ballerina is actually pretty good.
Yeah,
so I'm willing to give it a chance.
I think Donnie Yen would blow that away as Kane in Hong Kong. So I mean, Ballerina was good, but it wasn't. I still rank it probably the lowest of all the spinoffs. So let's get into chapter 2, folks, and shout out to everybody in the chat. Any questions for us, John Wick universe or anything else, recos, films? You guys want to hear the schedule? Obviously, Clockwork next week. I can't believe this was 2017, guys. It's still so. I'm watching my Blu-ray, guys. It really holds up well. Just popped the digital copy into my iTunes. So I actually was watching the special features for you guys for once. Like that's because there's like 10 hours of content, guys. And usually I just watch the movie right before I review. And then I'm like, hey, I didn't get to watch disc 2, but I actually watched most of the features this time for you guys. So anyway, mine has Blu-ray, DVD, and digital. I don't know if there's any 4Ks out yet, but I assume at some point. Go buy it. Basically, go on Amazon and buy this is what we're trying to say. Because Chad Stileski and Reeves are the ish. That was on the plane. The guy behind me told me to fast forward in 20 minutes. God bless him. I don't think I could have handled the dog thing. That's John Wick 1. Yeah. Well, he's got a pit bull with him in John Wick 2. You guys know how I feel about that. I go ballistic, but I mean, it's all part of the thing. I wonder if I assume maybe Minty or someone has covered that. Like, I don't know what the John Wick 1 Cruise, I mean, he's old.
What about Chris Pratt? He does a lot of kind of action thrillers, military series.
But like Wick is a very like soft-spoken, like samurai-esque character. I don't think anyone.
Keanu's voice lends to it, doesn't it?
I don't think anyone captures the the character the way Keanu does. Like I love Tom Cruise. I like Ethan Hawke a lot. But man, I don't know. Ethan Hawke's really good in like a sci-fi or a Gattaca. You know what I mean? Well, I just want to show you guys the poster real quick. John Wick, never stab the devil in the back. John Wick Chapter 2. You know why? Because that poster's awesome. And IMDb. After returning to the criminal underworld to repay a debt, John Wick discovers a large bounty has been put on his life. Dark comedy, which I love. I mean, okay, this is his kind of comedy. We'll just put it. The fact they even include that, but you got to assume that's like a holdover from like the westerns and the samurai movies we were watching. So obviously Gun Fu, you guys know what that is, equilibrium style, one-person army action, crime, thriller. Those are our genres. And then we'll pretty much go straight into Wikipedia for there, guys, unless you want to jump in on anything.
No. Let's get into it, man.
Let's do it. I'll just do the intro. John Wick Chapter 2 is a 2017 American neo-noir action thriller film directed by Chad Stileski. Written by Derek Kolstad. Derek Kolstad is awesome too, guys. He worked on like quite a few types of these action movies that we watch. As the direct sequel to John Wick 2014 is the second installment of the John Wick film series. Stars Keanu Reeves as the title character, supporting cast of Common, Lawrence Fishburne, Ricardo Scaramuccio, who I thought did amazing, Ruby Rose, Lance Reddick, R.I.P., Peter Stormare, Bridget Monahan, Franco Nero, John Leguizamo, Ian McShane, obviously Winston. The film's plot follows retired hitman John Wick as he's forced back into his old life to fulfill a blood oath to a crime lord, Santino D'Antonio. I thought the Italian actors did an excellent job, guys. The two, the brother and sister.
Yeah, they were excellent.
Yep, the D'Antonios. Following the box office success of the previous film, Stileski and the film's first uncredited co-director, David Leitch, said a sequel film began development in February 2015. I feel like with John Wick 1, there's like a lot of uncredited people because you hear that a lot. Obviously, David Leitch is like executive producer on John Wick 2. So the team of these guys, I think, is incredible, guys, between Stileski, Lech, obviously their stunt team. I'll talk about them when we do production. Said a sequel began development in February 2015. Later the same month, John Feltmeyer confirmed plans for additional John Wick properties to create a media franchise and announced the return of Kolstad as the screenwriter. Principal photography began in 2015, lasted until early the following year, with filming taking place in Montreal, New Jersey, New York City, and Rome. And that we're definitely going to talk filming locations, guys, because we talked about that a lot in 4. And I was because I saw the Montreal production when I was watching the credits. I was wondering about that. Not sure. Is this a cleanup crew in chapter 2? And where was John Wick chapter 2 had its premiere at ArcLight Hollywood in LA January 30th, 2017, released by Lionsgate in the US February 10th. So we're right around the anniversary, guys. Film received acclaim from critics who praised action sequences, direction, editing, visual style, and performances of the cast, particularly Reeves. Grossed almost $175 million worldwide, becoming the then highest grossest film in the franchise. A sequel, John Wick Chapter 3, Parabellum, was released in May 2019. So I'll pull out my notes. We'll break down some plot, Gazzy. Of course, there's that intro scene, getting the car. That's a bit of a holdover from John Wick 1. That's his Mustang. Let me get my notes ready, folks. And do this first thing. John Wick infiltrates a smuggling compound run by Abram Tarasov, who is highly strung following the recent deaths of his nephew Losif and brother Vigio at John's hands. There he recovers his stolen Boss 429 Mustang and kills all of Abram's men in a violent rampage, but spares Abram himself under the promise of peace. Returning home, he sends his Mustang off to be repaired by Aurelio and attempts to restart his life as Quietude. So yeah, I mean, I thought this one got it snapping right away, guys. I like the sequel fight to 1. You know, I thought it was like it connected the two films, which I'm always big on. Yeah, I mean, there's kind of that Gaz was saying, like Fast and Furious S sequence in chapter 4 around the Arc de Triomphe. But yeah. I still think Reeves is probably overpowered and just, I don't know, his style of action is way more realistic than anything you see in Fast and Furious. You don't really have Brazilian jiu-jitsu and grappling and judo. I mean, they're cool. They want a cameo, but I don't think there's any point in putting him in something. I don't know. We'll see what Diesel does with that last Fast, if it's on Mars or Jupiter. Where can they go? You know? We've gone everywhere. It's obviously in another
Diesel versus 3-Eye Atlas movie
versus Riddick. They always say Dom Toretto versus Riddick.
He fights himself.
Mirror match. Yeah. Any breakdown of this first fight, guys? I can jump into my notes.
Well, what I like and this is throughout the movie, is, and you just alluded to that, as the way they use the various martial arts disciplines and it's choreographed really nicely. It flows. You've got the Brazilian jiu-jitsu with the gun fu from Equilibrium. Yeah. That's taken up to another level. That's another movie we'll have to get to one time, folks. But it's like using that gun fu with the Brazilian jiu-jitsu sequences, and it flows. And you see many parts where he's got someone restrained on the floor whilst he's taking out some guys coming towards him. Mm-hmm. That is one thing I think is highly impressive. You see Hapkido in there, bits of judo, Krav Maga. Mm-hmm. And that... Yeah, and that's taken from that opening fight as well, just after the car and a bike scene, which is really good. And there is a game on, I believe it's on PCs as well, but it's on consoles, the Kung Fu game with Sifu. There's various sequences in that are definitely influenced by John Wick. One of the latest sequences in kind of the art gallery-esque setting, just before it takes out the head of the Kimura. Spoilers, guys. So I think... when you've watched the first one, if no one's ever seen this before, they immediately grab the audience with the opening chase sequence, something high in octane, then into the first fight to carry that forward from the earlier movie. And it kind of brings the plot there and establishes where the characters are. and it's bone crunching, literally, and hard hitting. And there's a flaw. It does have like really realist side to it as well, Ross. I feel like goes with the flaw. Although it's, yes, choreographed, put together well, you could imagine a guy trained to that level, literally just going through guys and then having to fight with a guy, say, equal to him over a certain period of time. So that's one thing I think is just that immediately grabs you. Sorry for that long-winded breakdown there, folks.
Yeah, so you're referring to the Continental. There's no business on Continental grounds, Pixie, and business refers to assassination by assassins from all the Assassin verse. They do go through a window, Wick and Cassian, but yeah, he gets the bounty on his head several times throughout the film, so that as soon as that goes out.
The dialogue as well by it's one of the first bosses, and he's talking to like one of his undervillains, and he's giving you some backstory on John that, hey, he took out my guys over his dog, he wants his car back, and the guy says, can we just give his car back? And he's like, no, that's not going to happen. This isn't going to work.
It's like,
and it's great. And it's great. The build up and the tension as well, Ross. I feel, a lot of people focus on the action, obviously, with John Wick, but the supporting acting is good as well. I mean, Ian McShane is fantastic, and throughout the entire franchise, 10 out of 10 for that guy.
I was going to say there's a lot of good action.
There is.
We're going to get into this, but my favorite sequence here is when he does like the loadout when he gets to Rome. Like, I love that part when he's okay. So what they changed was in 1 he did mostly pistol work. You're banned forever. You better drink some coffee. Pixie.
I was going to say this to her. I've got to jump in here, Pixie. Here's my opportunity. Was this too fast-paced in the 3-hour boredom of Reservoir Dogs? Was that what it is? You just wanted to see the 4 guys in a room just talking to each other where nothing happens.
About the crime you didn't see?
Yeah. With the overrated soundtrack from one of the worst decades in history outside of the hard rock and heavy metal there.
The music.
You knew it was... don't worry, I give you enough ammo to get me back. I make enough gas, so don't worry.
I love the music in John Wick too. That theme song. I mean, I just think there's like from the lighting to the stylized color correction to the music. Like, I thought this was really where the franchise hit its apex as far as like nailing that John Wick style. So yeah, he basically takes out the Russian goons. Pretty sick shots of him with the Mustang doing some driving, the transporter-esque driving techniques. One thing that's really cool, what Gaz was talking about in the special features, you can see him working with a stunt team, how they trained him, then bringing him up to that shooting ranch. It's like the #1. I think he's the fastest draw in the States or whatever, Gaz, like it's in terms of, competition. I believe it's called the Terran Ranch. It has the
in
the features. I forgot his name, but he's on everything, probably on Discovery a lot and such. He said that Reeves is the best A-list actor he's ever had up there. Like, he's had guys that are like, okay, I'll learn it for the screen, but he's like, Reeves is like, get his speed time all the way up to make John Wick elite, like Gaz was saying. Never mind training with the Machado brothers, training with 8911, which is the stunt team. As Gaz said, judo throws, BJJ grappling, and all the other stuff. One of the awesomest things I saw, Gaz, was actually Ruby Rose talking about getting involved and talking about working with Chad Stelsky and being like, okay, this is what we trained for choreography for the fight scene. And then Chad will come in and he'll be like, hey, let's change this, and this, like mid, you know what I mean? Because Chad was a stuntman, obviously. He was stuntman on The Crow, and as me and Gaz has said. So imagine like a director that is that well-versed that he can come in mid-scene and be like, hey, let's change the sequence up, and you got, as the actor, you got to be ready to adapt. And obviously, Reeves is going with it. It's pretty lopsided between you guys. Let's get on to like,
let's actually do the review.
Just banter with our audience. It's cool. So yeah, there's a bunch of shots that I saw that were sick. I love the subtitle text. Obviously, like I was gonna say,
the way it's displayed as well.
It's probably not that realistic for Wick to speak like 5 languages. Like he speaks, Italian in this one and like Russian in the other ones. But it makes the character awesome, right? So you suspend your. I mean, there's people out there that can do it, And
I like Ruby Rose's character who plays the mute, the way she uses sign language. and John's interactions with her as well. Those are really good.
Be seeing you. Be seeing you is like my favorite line.
Sure,
like, yeah, exactly. Like not if I see you first, you know.
Yeah.
But okay, so the fire shot. Okay, so early on we're introduced to the Italian actors. I thought they both of the brother and sister Gianna and had an excellent performance. Gianna and Riccardo Scarmicio, who plays Santino. D'Antonio is obviously the Kimura family. If you've heard me and Gaz or seen my Gamora season 3 review with Kara, you guys know what the Kimura is. It's like the southern. I guess people call it the mafia. It's not really accurate to say. We won't get into it, guys. We won't pull Gamora off the shelf and do the whole thing. But it's the southern Italy organized crime cartel. But not far south of Sicily, so mainland southern. But anyway, regardless, like we were saying, that the Italian actors did a fantastic job. Obviously, Ruby Rose as Ares, and then Claudia Girini as Gianna. And so the first meeting is when Santino pulls up on Wick at his house. He's got the blood mark, wants to get rid of his sister to get her high council seat. And they're like, I still think everything at this point, like plot wise, guys, and just Wick verse wise, was like working the best at this point. I thought like in chapter 3 we would get more of like the high table, like characters and stuff like that. It went in a different direction. We covered that in our chapter 3 review. But up until this point, Wick refuses, even though he's got the blood mark, and Santino basically blows up his house with a nade launcher. And then there's that shot of the house on fire with like Wick's silhouette walking away. I thought that was like an amazing, framing. You know what I mean?
It was, and that's revisited later as well. You kind of get the contrast to that, which is really excellent for an artistic standpoint.
Absolutely. And then when he arrives to Italy, basically, Wick is like coming for that, or I guess he essentially decides to do it after he meets up with Winston. So when he talks to the manager of the Italian Continental, who I also thought was an excellent actor, he
was.
I liked how he was like, kind of collaborating with John and such. Not sure which character that was, to be honest. Was it Franco Nero as Julius? Might have been him. Looks like he's like an old school character actor, but we'll figure that out. Let's see where we're at. So yeah, there's that fight that night. John's visited by Kimura crime boss Santino D'Antonio, who, given John's brief return from retirement, now seeking his services. John's bound by a marker, a medallion symbolizing a blood oath, with Santino, who had helped him complete the impossible task that allowed him to retire and marry Helen. Nevertheless, John refuses, prompting Santino to destroy his house with a grenade launcher. After surviving Santino's attack, he travels to the Continental Hotel in New York, where Winston reminds him that the underworld has 2 unbreakable rules: no conducting business, assassinations on continental grounds, and honoring the marker. To avoid a death sentence, John reluctantly accepts Santino's marker and is tasked with assassinating Santino's sister, Gianna, allowing Santino to claim her seat at the high table. A council of 12 high-level crime bosses in the underworld. Santino sends Ares as mute bodyguard to observe John's mission. One thing I was wondering about is like the prequel relationship between John and Santino, because he says like whenever John had to do that agreement with him, Santino saved him with something. They didn't say what it is. I'm wondering if the video game will, because they said it's like John's origin. I'm hoping it will explain that meetup with Santino.
Possibly.
In one, they just dropped John in, and so you don't know anything about, other than he tried to retire and get out of the game. You don't know what he was like, what missions he took when he was active, and I'm guessing Santino was one of those interactions. That's my whole thing. Anything on any of that stuff, Gazzy?
No, just that. Again, acting I think is good. Excuse me, helped set up the scene, the tone, the atmosphere as well, and the Italian actors I feel are very strong as well.
I like the dynamic between John and Santino. I think Santino is a way better villain than the Russian guys from 1, because it was cool, but it was very cliche. Like, Equalizer did that same thing with the Russian mob in Boston, and then obviously they killed his like his wife had died, and they killed his dog and stuff. So what I mean? I feel like in this one there was more like fire behind it, because they had the blood mark and they had that pre-existing relationship, and also he's having him kill his sister, which is super awkward. You know what I mean? And then like also Wick knows, even though it's the blood mark, well, okay, you kill a Kimura boss, crime boss, you're going to have the Kimura basically has unlimited resources, as Gaz knows. And, as you're going to find out from the plot, that they put a $10 million bounty after you, and Santino could just say, oh yeah, that's the guy who assassinated, there's not really with that amount of money, who's going to question him,
Do you feel, though, I think the strength of Riccardo Scamasio and Claudia Giardini, they're not just there to make up the numbers. They're not just very cardboard villains. There is a backstory. There is a bit of depth to them. I would argue even more so with the sister, because her exchange with John, which we'll come to later, is particularly good. And it alludes to consequences, as you were saying, Ross, of what is going to happen. You take out one of these bosses. So I do feel
underboss, you got a lot of enemies.
Yeah,
never mind a top one.
And but this I feel is carried throughout the film, because even Cassian's character, although he's a minor character, and obviously has an epic fight with John.
Cassian was awesome.
Yeah, he's even good. His performance, and that's what makes the strength of this film. That it's not a case of, right, this guy's here, I'm just going to take him out. Of course, there is sequences like that, but it's almost like, here's the underboss, here's the junior boss, then the middle boss, high boss, final boss, etc.
Definitely has tough fights too. What I would more worry about is, like, we've obviously watched Equalizer 3, and I know you've watched some. Actually, I saw Girini was in Sabura, Blood on Rome, which I think Gaz and I both did watch.
That was good. That was good.
So it's a similar show to Gamora. So she played a high level character in that.
Yeah.
So it's like if you guys are like completely unversed, this is Italian crime, and most of it is on HBO Max. And
good series.
What I would worry about is, like, with Gamora, in Second Leono, where where it takes place, like the projects in Naples, they essentially have their own dialect, and Gaz understands this being out in Europe. But in Italy, we call them dialects, but it's borderline close to another language, like much like Sicilian. Sicilian's got Arabic words and words that just aren't in any of the other flavors of Italian. So what I would really more worried about with, like, trying to bring over those Gamora actors, even though they have incredible performances, it's like they don't speak literally any English. How would that translate to the Hollywood, big budget, audience? And that was not a problem with Riccardo and Gianna Claudia Girini, because they delivered the English lines perfectly. So they were able to walk that line of delivering the Italian lines and delivering the English lines. You know what I mean? Which is, I imagine, difficult.
I'm going to go further with this. Something I just thought of. Do you feel brother and sister, particularly with their performances, with the location in Rome, the backdrop, did you kind of get Godfather 3 vibes with that? Because I did.
I have a point on that. What did I write down? There was, hopefully it will come back to me. There was something that reminded me of a Godfather reference in there. Oh man, but I don't think I wrote it down. And now that you said that, I can't remember what it was. There was something, definitely that relationship.
Yeah.
And there was something else that I thought was definitely a Godfather reference, but now I didn't write it down in my notes, and now it slipped me. Hopefully it will come back to me as we're doing the review, and I'll bring it up to you guys if I happen to remember it. But yeah, great point. There's also another action film that you and I reviewed that I think is definitely a reference in that final fight. I wanted to ask you if you got the same feeling that I got, and we'll cover that when we do the final fight sequence. But let's pick it up. So this is where were we? So he met up with him. And so then this is where John goes to Italy. And another reason why I'm so obsessed with this movie, guys, Gaz knows this, is in 2017, I actually went to Rome and went to Italy. Yeah. So this movie came out right around the time, you know what I mean? So or maybe I went 2016. But anyway, I was literally walking right around downtown Rome, those same buildings where when John walks out and you see those buildings there and stuff. Like I was at that same view, so I was just like, oh man, this is so sick that I was just there, and now Chad and Reeves shot this out here, so it made me feel like a closer connection to the movie. Obviously, being Italian, I don't mean to bring it up 500,000 times during this review, but shot in Rome, it might come up a couple times. Whoops. Back to the review. In Rome, Italy, John makes his way through Gianna's coronation and finds her in the dressing room. Faced with certain death, she chooses to slit her wrists, after which he shoots her in the head to end her suffering or fulfill Santino's marker. Absolutely love this catacomb sequence, guys. I think this is one of the best in the movie. Oh, I do want to cover one thing before that too. John getting his loadout at the when he gets the guns in the suit.
That is one of the best awesome, dude. The humor as well in it. It's just so casual, like literally you're in a wine, like in a vineyard or something. You know, could I take the 1737? So
yeah. He's like, I need two. Like, what kind of suits? One for day and one for night. Like, is it your outing business or social? And like, what kind of lining for your suit? Tactical. You're going to a social event, but you need a both. But just the weaponry. He obviously gives him the Benelli M4 Italian classic. Like the way he describes it, he's like something big, bold, robust, something for the end of the night. And then of course, dessert was the knives, the finest in cutlery. That back and forth, that dude was awesome. That guy had an awesome performance.
Yeah, and that's the charm with it, that subtle kind of dry humor, and you've got this very aristocratic, kind of gentlemanly ladyship kind of feel throughout the movies, yet people are doing very violent, nasty things to each other. But yet there can be a showcase for some of the finest tailored suits in the world.
Rome, the place with some of the most expensive suits in the world. And then, of course, like those guns certainly are inexpensive. I think he picks up I gave him the Austrian, I think, Glock for the pistol, the AR-15 for the rifle, and then the Benelli M4 Italian.
Just jumping in real quick, that AR-15, what I'll like that the sequence where we're about to get to is using the AR-15, the audio on that side as well, when you're hearing what an AR-15 sounds like as well, that was so on point. That was 100% accurate.
Yeah, insane. And of course, like he says, like the textured grip, should you get wet.
Yeah.
So just like amazing back and forth dialogue. That's always been one of my favorite scenes of the movie. I know it's not a technical fight scene or a big budget, whatever, but like Gaz said, just that back and forth.
It's a gunplay though, isn't it? And the tactics on it, just literally going through like how an operator.
No, the catacombs that's one of my favorite sequences of all time. I mean, that reminds me of almost Hard Boiled and stuff like that. So obviously the interaction between Gianna and John is really cool. Like, hey, she obviously knows why Wick is there. Like he tells her it's her brother, you know. So I thought, but that dialogue very very good. And then obviously when he comes back out into the concert, Gaz, his first interaction with Cassian, you working tonight?
You're working.
Having a good night, Fred. So that's a sick interaction as well before they draw on each other. Right then, well, there's obviously when he gets the Italian Continental. Julius, are you here for the Pope? Just tell me one thing. John, you're in Rome. So that was awesome. Then there's after the Catacombs assassination, he has another really cool silhouette of the lighting of the strobe walking out with the kind of concert lights. I thought that was another amazing lighting shot. And then that's where he encounters Cassian. I can jump in on we kind of, me and Gaz did a little bit of that, but while leaving the site, John is attacked by Gianna's bodyguard Cassian, forcing him to flee the nearby catacombs, where he's double crossed by Ares, who intends to kill him to tie up loose ends on Santino's behalf. He asks her tying up loose ends, and she says just one. With the middle finger. So and then this is what Gaz would talk about. This is, I remember, I think the catacombs, like the Roman catacombs, like just worked for the John Wick universe. The crime underworld is, everything Gaz was alluding to as far as the Wick verse. But the way particularly this one is broken down, the lighting, usually sometimes my criticism of action movies when they do like a dark tunnel scene or a nighttime shootout is you can't see anything. But the way Stileski lit this with the flashlights, you can actually see everything between the flashlights and the muzzle flashes. So there's just some amazing stunts here. It'd be hard to go down every one, but a lot of good martial arts, a lot of good holds. I know that one point he pushes the dude down with the shotgun barrel. And like Gaz said, goes AR. The way he has the guns like hidden around the tunnels because they gave him the maps during the loadout sequence. I was like, this is just one of the awesomest things I've ever seen. Obviously, the AR-15, like Gaz said.
And also when he runs out of ammo and he has to take the weapons off his enemies as well, because sometimes you can see where someone has unlimited ammunition in other action movies. Well, that doesn't happen in John Wick. That's all. Subtle things like that just help make the film.
Absolutely. Rolling down the stairs, he does some crazy stairs rolls. It never really kind of shows who who Reeves' stunt double is, because he obviously does most of it himself. But I assume some of the more difficult parts they have a stand-in. But just that whole this is the big difference between 1 and 2 from what they were saying on training Reeves on the special features, was adding the pistol rifle shotgun combo, like Gaz was saying, and then adding that to the speed range, because that's totally different than just doing pistol runs, guys. Which Reeves is obviously adept at. But I just love that whole whole fight. Nothing more to say about it other than the the way that like the dude described it to him with the polite dialogue, was Gaz was saying, is like exactly how the fight plays out. Like he goes pistol, AR, and then he grabs the shotgun. He puts the extra ammo belt around his waist, and that I will do that one cut, Gaz, where I think it's around a corner. I think he shotguns a guy, and then Chad did that like pull out wide shot, and then around the corner, and then you see Wick come around. You know what I mean? So just the way Chad kind of shoots like the path that John Wick is taking, because he kind of will shoot like the hallway open before he comes around the corner and kind of like shows you which direction he's got. Like just amazing camera angles. Like I gotta assume that there's like some Kurosawa influence there, guys.
Yeah, and what's good about those camera angles as well, it's nice to see when John is holding like the AR-15, especially. That's why I alluded to that scene. You see him holding it positionally correct, and that's great to see. You really see that, and that's a benefit of that camera work.
Yep, even when he was testing the ones that the guy was showing him at the gun store, so to speak, you could see him testing grips properly and switching it over to his elbow, testing reload, because he knows when he's going to be out there, it's going to be run and gun, So I mean, I rate that Catacombs fight as probably one of the top 3 or top 5 sequences in the John Wick series. Do you have it?
Easily.
That's where I'm at too. Probably top 3, maybe top 2, just because it's so awesome. It culminates to the Wick and Cassian fight. Let's see what. After killing most of Ares' henchmen, Cassian again pursues John with the ensuing fight, leading him to the Rome Continental. We could break this down a bit too, where they're stopped from conducting business. This might be the part you were talking about, Pixie. John explains that he was forced to kill Gianna due to her brother's marker. Cassian, while understanding, tells him that he cannot let the assassination go unpunished, but promises a grand and quick death. That's when Julius puts them at the bar. You can't fight on Continental grounds. Before that, the fight, when Cassian pops up on him, they're shooting through the car windows. So some good car stunt there. Obviously, they're fighting on like the Roman like cobblestone. I imagine not a light fall in a suit. So pretty much fighting on stone.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been it's not the most comfortable to roll around on as well. Anyone who's done any rolling, when you're on a nice comfortable surface, and if you haven't moved to a hard surface, you really feel it. It's just
Yeah, a lot of ground game there. The knives come out, really good knife play fight. Really good choreography from Common, aka Cassian. Didn't really like some of his early roles when he got in the game, but later on he did like Salvation and he did this. I think this is the best role of his career, in my opinion. Good.
Yeah, his performance is excellent, and what's good is we're about, when we get to the New York City subway fight that
awesome.
Definitely we see another Kurosawa influence. I'm gonna wait till we get to there. I'll spoil it.
For sure. They have a big roll down those stone stairs. I noticed in this one, guys, because I've seen the film 2 or 3 times now, possibly 4. When they were fighting and Chad did that pull out wide shot of the stairs, you knew that they were going to fall down the stairs, because why else is Chad showing?
Yeah, of course.
But it's like, even though it's like, what's the word? Like kind of obvious, but it's like, you don't mind it, because it's like, all right, they're going to take this freaking massive roll down 30, 40 stairs. That would hurt like hell.
But it's because it's incredibly well done. I mean, one of my other favorite sequences from all the John Wick films, in John Wick 4, that whole fight up the stairway, that is incredible.
I think that was an extension of this. Like they got
definitely. That's always about that point. I was just about to make that.
Yeah, let's make it longer.
It's exactly that.
Yeah. Predictable was the word I was looking for, but it's like some of the predictable things in John Wick, you don't care, because it's going to look awesome. I mean, a lot of it is the visual effect, right?
So. Yeah, because it's very well done. If it was executed poorly, then obviously it would be a fail, but it's not.
100%. It's like it's coming, but give it to me. But where are we at? So that really good fight between them. Obviously their fight gets breaking up when they roll into the window of the Continental. Yeah, it was Julius. So the Rome Continental's manager Julius gives John safe passage back to New York. Santino has opened a contract to have John assassinated, ostensibly to avenge his sister's death. As John fights off numerous assassins, Winston visits Santino, confirms the marker's fulfillment, thus freeing John from being unable to deny or harm Santino. If I'm not mistaken, Santino does 7 million, and then I think at some point, like the Kimura, like double, or that's at the end of the movie, right? The Kimura.
That's the end of the movie where they double it.
Like
yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, big numbers, folks.
Yeah.
Big numbers. Go ahead, guys.
And there's a lot to unpack in this scene as well. So after Santino's put that contract out, John hastily is making his way through. Right, Ross, if I remember this correctly, does a fight with Cassian happen on the train before he meets the various assassins? You know, he has that sequence with the sumo guy. Does he fight Cassian before then, or is it after?
Let me think. You're talking about the final fight with Cassian, right?
Yeah.
I think it's after, because once Cassian gets the hit, like everybody else gets it from the cell phone. So everybody gets the hit at the same time. So
there's a lot to unpack in that scene, folks. When John is hastily walking along and knows everybody is after him, and then it is pretty much just a whole montage, but done really well, of these various assassins hiding in plain sight who appear, who try and take him out, which we can break down some of these fights, because they're all different in their own way, but exceptionally well.
Really awesome idea. I really like the idea of the hit going out and everyone getting the alert right in front of Wick. I called it the NYC assassin montage. That's what Gaz was alluding to, back to New York. And again, honestly, I know John Wick 1 basically like took place in all of New York, but I honestly thought they captured shooting New York better in John Wick 2, even though it only had those sequences of him there before he went out to Rome, and then him coming back and kind of this
Central Park.
Central Park. We'll talk about the train sequence is actually Montreal. They made that look like the New York subway. I was gonna say, like, that looks pretty damn clean for the New York subway. I don't know if it looks like that. Didn't look like
just
that
a
in the
little
Warriors. Bit. Didn't look like that in the Warriors, but I was wondering where they shot in Quebec and Montreal. I've obviously been to both cities, so I really thought it worked really damn well. Really like the idea of all those in public assassins, like Gaz was saying, the street performer Gaz. She was really cool. She was playing violin, and then as soon as he walked by, she drew on him, shot him in the back. I think that's one of the first he has to deal with. The big Asian guy, as Gaz was saying,
sumo guy,
in the sumo guy in Central Park. Really, really good fight. And I love the cutback between all the different fights. That is
because what's good is it. What I like about John Wick is, well, yes, this guy's he's dicing through, if you like, but they are still trained assassins, so it's not a case of he's just going to dispatch this one easily. There's the chess game waiting for that opening, how I'm going to counter. And what is good on this sequence, Ross, is the cutbacks when it shows you how we overcome that obstacle. I thought that was genius, man. I really like that.
Well, along with the catacombs, I think this is right up there with one of the best sequences in the film, up into that final museum fight with Santino.
And a further showcase of how he's the most lethal person in the world with a pencil. Yeah,
I'm coming back to that. So he does struggle with the violinist street performer. She's pretty tough. He struggles with the sumo guy because he overpowers him. He's bigger than him. The two dudes, like the two Asian dudes, one at the bar drinking the coffee bar or whatever. So I really like how he pulls up that first dude and then he uses his pistol to shoot the other guy. Then he has the two pencil kills. He kills the one, I think down on the coffee bar, pencil through the ear, and then the other dude, he holds it on the wall and mashes his head into it. Really grimy pencil kills, harkening back to what the Russian mafia boss was saying in the introduction, as Gaz was saying in the prologue. Really awesome. So I think you were talking about him and Cassian walking through the train, silent pistol shootout
man.
in public,
just casually walking along.
One of the I've always loved that scene. One of the best scenes in the movie. I'm just like, first of all, there's I get the silencer, but people aren't noticing the debris bouncing off the walls.
So I'm gonna go nerd on this part, man. Well, I'm not gonna break a habit. Just before we get to the Kurosawa instance, so as they're walking along, just casually using the silencers, Doesn't that have that Wild West feel to it? Does have that Western feel, man? These two gunslingers opposing
Yeah, for
sides.
sure.
That's
Especially when like you have like kind of like the loud like soundtrack, like a Morricone, like we were saying, you
yeah,
know, another thing reference. But like when you have the loud Western soundtrack, and it kind of almost like dulls the pistol shots. You know
yeah.
what I mean? But yeah, no, definitely awesome. What are you thinking is the Kurosawa reference?
Is when so after the exchange, the pistol fire, the train arrives. They both wait for the passengers to get off. They get on the train,
Yeah,
and we have this build up because the train still obviously has a lot of passengers on there, and they're both working their way towards each other. So when they stood opposite, there's still some passengers there.
mm.
The Kurosawa influence here, Ross, is the glancing at each other and how the camera we see Cassian's face, then Wick's face,
Yep,
and they're
yep,
both like speaking with their eyes, like, "Are we going to go? Ready? Right? Okay, now." And they're kind of
yeah.
looking, think it's safe to go, and then of course it happens. So you have that tension build up, and then of course we get the epic fight.
Yeah, hell yeah. So Wick fights down the stairs. He has like kind of knife
Yeah,
fight. He does that dude does the on the ground double leg kick, and Wick spins out of
yeah,
it, lands on him with a knife. That was
yeah,
a crazy stunt kill, crazy knife stunt. And then that's essentially Cassian and Wick on either side of the train car, as Gaz was saying. Let me check by that. Pretty much gets us fairly close to the final fight. But yeah, again, there is an awesome Wick fight with Cassian, a final fight, a knife fight in the train with like
yeah.
three or four
That's it.
people
That's the
watching in the
one. Yeah.
background. Really good choreography. Let's just see.
And there's a good line that Wick uses that references the drink both he and Cassian had in the Italian Continental in Rome. Spoiler alert here, folks. But Wick pushes a knife into Cassian's chest and says, "Right, if you remove that now, it's in your aorta. You are gonna, can't say because it's YouTube, and you're not going to be here, yeah." And then he
Yeah.
says, "Take that as a professional courtesy." Really subtly done, and just a nice reference to the earlier scene together. I thought them two.
Yep.
I thought both actors flowed incredibly well.
Totally agree. You know what?
Yeah,
I had mentioned this to you when we did 3 and 4. I actually wanted
yeah,
to see Cassian because he kept him alive the way that when we come to the Bowery King, Bowery King says that Wick kept him alive as well, and Bowery came back to help him. So
yeah.
unless they're planning on it in 5 or 6, as you were saying, I really think Cassian should come back and they should team them up, even if it's like they don't like each other still. They're forced to do it for some mission. That would be sick. Just because it really wasn't Wick's fault. Santino made him do it for the blood
Yeah.
oath and then double crossed him.
And
So Wick
Cassian's
also
staying loyal to his
yeah,
word, as he actually says.
100%,
Yeah,
100%. So, and again, Wick didn't want to do it either, so
yeah,
he got forced into it. As Gaz was saying, in the New York subway, John encounters Cassian. The two men engage in a grueling melee that ends with Cassian being stabbed in the aorta and left for D word. Now severely injured, John seeks aid from an underground crime boss known as the Bowery King. Definitely cool the way he pulls up on that dude and he knows he's one of the Bowery King reps and drops him the coin, and then they just cover him under the debris, and then those are like the two henchmen after him.
yeah. And his line, yeah, where he's pretending like he's mad, and then takes out the two henchmen who follow him. Yeah,
yeah.
Oh, that was super. Yeah.
Two silent shots, and then those other guys come and just help him drag the bodies away.
Yeah.
There's the dark comedy, dragging the bodies away in a comedy scene. Intrigued by his intent to kill a member of the High Table, the Bowery King sportingly gives John a Kimber M1911 pistol with 7 bullets, 1 for each million of the contract. He also directs him to an art museum where Santino holds a gala. John attacks the museum and kills. We'll unpack that in a second. Obviously, the Bowery King is Lawrence Fishburne's first introduction to the John Wick universe. You guys know him from Morpheus and the Matrix and Apocalypse Now and a very other storied career. But anything else with the Bowery King meetup, Gaz, or how he gets into the next level?
Well, I do like the first. I do like his introduction, and as you were saying earlier, how it references that John Wick kept him. Oh, it's YouTube. Kept him alive. I think we can say that. It's the other one, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
And he references the scar on his. Excuse me, I'm just going to choke, folks. And he references the
beneath
scar on
blood.
his neck that he got, yeah, that he got from John Wick. So I really liked that, the whole setup,
Yeah.
and how he's obviously got his street crew there out there, you know, gathering intelligence, recon, and people. So yeah, the build up is really good.
Hell yeah, hell yeah, yeah. It's a cool, you know, pigeons on the roof, kind of like
Yeah.
Mike Tyson kind of sequence, New York sequence, and then yeah, he kind of sets him up to get him into the museum.
Is the, if I remember this correctly, Ghost Dog where the samurai? Isn't the
Yeah,
pigeon?
yeah,
So yeah,
yep,
I
yep.
got those kind of vibes from that.
RZA
Yeah,
cameo. I'm down to review
yeah.
Ghost Dog down the line.
Yeah, oh,
Again,
it's epic, man. Yeah,
official Wu-Tang movie. I love Ghost Dog.
yeah.
It's like super underground, grimy sort of vigilante New York street movie, but still awesome. And obviously Forrest Whitaker's the man. So basically, Bowery King gives him the drop on Santino. John attacks the museum and kills all Santino's subordinates, including Ares, whose actions buy time for Santino to escape to the Continental, where he boasts about remaining in sanctuary indefinitely. And we'll talk about what happens to him there. But yeah, this fight is awesome. I mean, you know, honestly, like the museum thing is like a little bit cliche, like having like Santino be this like highfalutin like art kind of guy, but like also the way, you know, Stelsky shoots it as the backdrops and the lighting, it just super fits the Wick universe, so it definitely looks awesome. The opera music in this final fight, it's sort of that opera electronic mix, Gaz. I'm sure you noticed that. Thought it worked really well. I think Tyler Bates might be one of the guys who worked on the soundtrack. Also, special shout out, Gaz. I don't know how long you stuck on the credits. I think I sent it to you before, but Jerry Cantrell comes out with the solo song, Just Another Job to Do. There's a music video for that. It's like the theme song for the movie. Jerry Cantrell is of Alice in Chains, for those who don't know their grunge, but widely considered one of the best American guitarists of all time. So obviously that, you know, I'm an AIC fanboy, as you guys know. So I was very pleased to find that out. I'm like, damn, our favorite movie and Jerry Cantrell on the soundtrack. Can't get there it is. Well, guys just got his Nirvana shirt on, so there it is, the grunge reference for the review, because there had to be at least one. But absolutely pumped about that. Yeah, a lot of crazy stuff. I know Wick. There's a lot of crazy. You know, you guys have to watch it and break it down for yourselves. But there's a lot of really great action sequences. From he only has the 7 bullets with the 1911 coming in. So as Gaz said, he kind of throws that in someone's face and then adapts to grabbing the other guy's weapons and clips. A lot really good judo throws here. Really good on the ground BJJ, gun fu. Kind of like, you know, homogenizing the new school fight style altogether with the gun fu.
Urban combatives, and
I like it better. Where did I write that? Yeah, I wrote it down pretty soon. I like it better as they get through the exhibits, guys, from the ancient ones into that kind of new school modern art section, which they do this in 3, and they carry this in 4 as well. But those kind of electronic LCD backgrounds, LEDs, whatever you want to call them, really, really sick. Getting into that mirror room. But when they get into those stairs as he's taking out Ares guards, there's kind of that, I don't know what you call it, like almost like a MC Escher painting with the stairs, that kind of rectangular 3-level with the square. I think he pushes a dude's head back and he shoots the dude up to the top, and the dude falls all the way down. Like that was almost like the Protector or something very martial arts. Right?
It was, and I think this scene could have been improved further. The only criticism here is what we needed was that gentleman waistcoat guy from Enter the Dragon with his cane to walk down the stairs to take on John Wick, and then struggle and deliver one of his most epic lines in cinema history. You know,
dude, you literally referenced what I have written down. So
it's like
the mirror room.
Yeah.
Did you Enter the Dragon?
Yeah, totally. Of course it is.
I was dying to ask you that, because I was like, dude. The mirror room has to be an Enter the Dragon reference. I mean, I know a lot of other 80s, 90s movies have used it since Enter the Dragon, but Enter the Dragon's way back then. This has to be Chad's.
It even reminds me a bit, of that sequence we see in, I think, the last fight in Monkey Man as well. It's kind of similar-ish there too.
Yeah, Monkey Man definitely had John Wick influence. But I was like, okay, it's good. And again, this is like, it's way crazier because it's John kind of hunting down Santino, and then obviously Ares sending all her guards at Wick, who are getting murked, and then finally I was talking to Gaz about this scene. Santino and Ares cut off when she sends him down the elevator. I'll go finish this, or I'll go handle this. I'll go finish this. And then when it shuts, they both have the mirror on either side, so she's looking at her own face and send, so you get both of their reactions. I thought that was really clever of the double-sided mirror and getting both characters' reactions of Santino thinks he's going to get away. Ares knows she's probably not because all her henchmen have been destroyed by Wick. Did you get the same interpretation of that?
Yeah, and I think when you've seen it more than once, a few times, you notice more of these subtleties as 100%. Well, which is there. And her character, Ruby Rose's character, I was impressed with in this movie. I liked, like I said, I liked the way she was using her sign language. Really good. The last exchange between her and John Wick after their fight is good as well.
Awesome.
What's interesting is you do see throughout, particularly in this one as well, they're assassins on opposite sides of the fence, but they still give each other some professional courtesy, even in those end moments.
You know what that's like when Hana holds Macaulay's hand at the end of Heat, and they have that conversation, separate sides of the business, but like respect the
still
line.
That respect there, yeah.
You got to say that Wick like takes a little bit from every one of those crime films. I'll give you another one with Ares, and I thought her performance was excellent, as you were saying. She pulls out the blade out of her back. That's the last thing you see when
the kunai,
when Wick dispatches her. And she's kind of having that last conversation with her. Wick he puts the blade in her, and then he's going through her pockets, taking the gun out with the clips, taking her ammo off of her. Chad focuses the camera on Ares' face during that scene, so I thought it was a really good job.
That's what was referencing,
what Wick is doing and showing her reaction, and then their final words, hey, John, be seeing you, and
for
Wick, sure you will. So obviously he knows she's going to B word out, as Gaz was saying. So that pretty much comes up to, I guess the obvious sequence, which Wick has been hunting this guy all movie, so you kind of know. You already seen them break into the Vatican once, or not the Vatican, the Continental once, as Pixie was saying, but you know what I mean. Pretty much we'll give it here. So John attacks the museum, and then she buys him time, and then he comes across like, hey, have you tried the menu? A man could eat here for a long time, thinking like he's gonna like hide out there forever from John Wick after he just double crossed him. Probably not, dude. Based on what I've seen Wick do in the first couple of movies, gonna go ahead and doubt that he's gonna let that slide. And despite Winston's calls for restraint, John executes Santino in the Continental Lounge, shoots him in the face with the last round. So I guess just get your reaction of that final Santino execution, guys.
Again, the acting backs up what we know is going to happen. We know it's coming, but Ian McShane warning him, Jonathan, just walk away. Ian McShane's character, Winston, of course, warn him, just walk away. Then Santonio says, yeah, John, just walk away. And of course, but I like the way alluding to subtleties again, the way this is set up. So, Riccardo Scamacchio's character, Santino, who John has obviously been hunting throughout the movie, the way this is set up, Ross, did remind me of those mafia movies as well. It's having that nice steak meal. I wanted to steal it out of what I was watching, actually, but anyway, that's
not a big. You're talking to a Sicilian about food, brother Alex. I'm going to stop you right there. I don't love duck fat, but listen, what the dish looked incredible.
Oh, it did, man. I was foaming.
I'll try it.
I was foaming, bro. But the way it reminded me of those mafia movies, where they've got the subtle things like that. They're having the meal. Just before something happens, it's either a business negotiation or something goes down, and I always think, well, what a waste of all that food, and someone's been taken out.
I can't. You would go really well on an Italian movie set. Me and Coppola got to get you on site. Like, hey, well, you got your shots, Francis, right? You mind if me and Gaz jump in on the platters?
We'll be a cleanup crew of a different kind.
Yeah, I don't get. Those guys said they were caterers, and they just sit down and eat all the food, and then they just leave. They leave. Yeah, they don't clean up after themselves. I don't think these guys work for the set. This wasn't the Godfather reference I was thinking of, but what you just described reminded me of it. Trying to think which movie. I think it's Godfather 2 now, but I can't actually remember the meetup with Michael in the Italian restaurant when he shoots the dude into his pasta. Quite similar to a restaurant, eating scene.
It's got that vibe because I like how the camera focuses on the plate, what he's eating. He's calmly there enjoying his meal and thinks, right, he's not gonna do this here. Of course, we know different. And then again, Winston, Jonathan just walk away. Santino, yeah, John, just walk away. And then the next thing, of course, John Wick takes him out. It's just those subtleties. We see how the camera is used to show, I guess, like I said, the meal he's eating, those real world objects. I just feel it really delivers one of those scenes, like you just said, Ross, out of the Godfather movie, out of something like that. And it's not just a case of then John arrives, right, takes him out, that's it. It's very subtly done.
Absolutely. And shortly after that, we kind of get like a little wrap up from Winston. John on his way out, more interaction with, again, Sharon, aka Lance Reddick. Like how they have his name, like Karen, like Sharon, Karen, Karan. That sounds a bit like I'm going to go completely off gas, but you do this all the time since we're getting close to St. Patty's Day, when Agent Smecker and Boondock was talking about the Saints putting the coins on their eyes and
for the Reaper, yeah.
Lance Reddick's character is named Karan, so I wonder if he's named after Karan, the boatman from the River Styx, like being concierge at the Continentals.
Yeah,
like you could in no man's land.
Yeah, you could argue that it goes kind of has to be diplomatic and go between the various factions in the Continental, especially. Yeah, so yeah, definitely you could say
the
that.
Character's name Karan. I assume that Chad is well read enough, and then obviously Derek Kolstad, the writer. So another obviously rest in peace to Lance Reddick again.
Yeah, incredible actor.
Most people know that he's just like they're like. When you ask like John Wick, they're like, John Wick is awesome, Reeves is the man, and like the next thing that comes up is like Lance Reddick is like the man as the concierge. You know what I mean? It's like everyone says that. So again, rest in peace. Finally, the next day, Winston meets with John, explains that the Kimura has doubled the bounty on John's head, offering it globally, further for conducting business on continental grounds per the High Table's rules. Winston's forced to declare John excommunicado, terminating his privileges and access to the underworld resources. However, due to their friendship, Winston delays the excommunicado status by 1 hour and provides him with a marker for future use. Before leaving, John tells Winston to warn every High Table assassin that he will kill everyone who tries to hunt him down. As John departs, Winston formally initiates the excommunicado contract process, setting it to go live in 1 hour. Increasingly tense, John begins running. His phones around him start to ring. I think it's an amazing, that outro run, a kind of a drone shot of John picking up his speed, all the phones ringing on either side of him. And
the dog running alongside him.
Following with him. Awesome outro scene. Really, really liked it a lot. Pixie found the pencil. A fucking pencil! Who can do that?
Yeah, it really is a nice outro. When Winston gives him I guess it's a coin, isn't it? That you may need this down
the road. Another blood marker, like
another blood marker. I liked that. Winston gives him an hour head start, can't delay it anymore. Really nice cutout, and of course, showing that John senses the danger around him. Could argue a little bit of paranoia, slightly. Are they all assassins around me? Because he doesn't know. It could be, yes. I mean. Okay, scene before that where John says to Winston during a conversation, heavy spoilers here, folks, why am I not unalive, yeah? Why am I still here? And Winston literally demonstrates why. You see one of his associates on the phone, everybody there stops. Wow. And I mean literally everybody.
In New York Square,
Yeah, and that was, and the way that was shot as well, Ross, as you were saying, to show that, very good filmmaking. And then that helps set up that outro where, as we were saying, we see John running with his dog alongside him. We see the assassins there getting the info through. They open bounty on John again, and then others who there may not be. That could be just be somebody on the phone. You don't know that. I will say before that as well, I noticed it this time on this watch, Ross, where there was one of the telephone operators who's putting the info out that, hey, there's the international contract on John Wick, showing you those retro old school computers as well. I noticed from the keyboard that I didn't see that first time, other times around, but this time I did. I thought, man, so many subtleties in this film.
I love those old switchboard things that
Yeah,
John Wick
yeah,
does.
that's
Like
it.
we were
Yeah,
talking about this with like the Warriors with like the radio thing. I was like, you think in John Wick they would put it out over the radio waves, but they actually do the switchboards. And I love how they're printing up the old. Remember the papers used to have those strips of paper that we used to
yeah,
rip off the edges, and they got like the old school printers with the trim,
yeah,
the switchboard, the phone. You know what I mean? So the whole thing's awesome. Even that, I'll say. Two things I was going to say. That final shot when the drone shot pans up over Wick running, they go across that angel statue with the birds on it. Like that's kind of the first thing you see, and then
yeah,
John and the dog running behind it. That whole pull away is really sick. And before that, Karan and John. Little conversation like about the dog, like how was he? He's like I enjoyed watching him.
yes,
He's a
yeah.
good dog. So they have a really cool one there. Obviously, when John
Oh,
goes back to the house, Karan goes to pick him up with the
yeah.
car.
That's what I was referring to earlier, where you see the opposite, where Santino, in the early part of the film, took out John's house, and then John is sat in that house again. That's completely burnt out. I think he's got Helen's
Rain.
uh, necklace or something like that, some kind
Yeah.
in his hand, and then of course Sharon. Um, if you what's the way it was? If you'd be so inclined, that's it. That's a line he uses. If you'd
Yeah.
be so inclined, John. Great delivery, the soul subtlety again, camera work,
Yeah.
setting, everything just really helped. I feel without that, we'd still have a good entertaining action film. I mean, me and you
Yeah.
enjoy the no brainers as well, but this
Sure.
just I feel it just gives it that much more weight.
It's certainly the next level with
Yeah,
top-notch score, top-notch editing, top-notch stunt coordination, directing, acting with Reeves and the others. They kind of pump up that pedigree with the Japanese character in Forgas, and then obviously Kane. So they're continually adding Scott Atkins, continually adding staple action stars to the franchise. Yeah, that's pretty much all I. Well, just yeah, so like John Wick doesn't really have any friends. Like in the first movie, no one really helps him. Like obviously Winston likes him because he continues to like even when the odds are
yeah.
against him to do stuff to help John. Obviously Karan likes him. Outside of them two and the Bowery King, you know what I mean? So I think like for 5 and 6, they should probably like kind of like what we were saying about like Sanjuro and those other movies. They should probably it doesn't have to be someone like all the way on Wick's side. Well, I guess he gets some help in Japan in chapter 4 finally, but that's like the first time you ever really seen him work with anybody that are like assisting him. So I think they should
Yeah,
add one or two characters that could like a team dynamic. That's one thing I would like to see. Bit like what we said about Boy Kills World, how he had the dude from Warrior with him. And it worked really, and the Jamaican dude, it worked really good. The fight scene dynamic with them three, and they added some of that in John Wick 4. But I'd like to see like John and Kane, you know what I mean? Instead of always like against him, like have like one or two of those other really good characters working with him. And I know 4 did a little bit of that.
yeah. And if look, if even if we see that in that spin-off, like how John appeared in Ballerina, so I think
Sure.
you've got them Hong Kong fights, which could be insane. You could obviously
John
get that in
pop up
Tokyo as
Kane,
well. Yeah,
that'd be so sick.
all day I'm
That'd be
there.
so
I'm
sick.
there.
That'd be
Yeah.
so sick. The only
What's
thing that could put the Kane movie
Yeah.
over the top is if like John Woo directs it, which is probably not going to happen, but it
Yeah.
would be crazy.
Yeah,
I don't
man,
think it's
that would be-
impossible. I don't think it's
Yeah.
impossible.
I mean, it's a sign of a classic, bro. That he what I remember when you were on vacation in Italy at that time. I was in college, and I remember, we were going back and forth, texting and everything. And I remember it dropping, and we were as excited about it then as we are now, and that still hasn't wavered.
So good, man. You guys saw my Blu-ray fell, but freaking dude, I was watching the special scenes and like go get it. Like I said, I just watched my Blu-ray. I try to watch hard copies to show them to you when I can.
So that's a perfect segue. Do you want to break down any of those deleted scenes that you did see for people?
Yeah, it wasn't too crazy. I'll give you guys what I saw. There weren't any fights or anything. There was another scene with Santino and Winston, so there was more interaction there. There was a scene where Wick meets the Pope, and then there was a scene with Aureliano. He's like the mechanic. John Leguizamo, who had John's Mustang, kind of was in the beginning and the ending, where Santino and them pulled up on Aurelio. So I wouldn't say there was anything that was like that I think should have stayed in there. I noticed the vocals were like pretty low on some of those. I don't know if they just weren't like, completed editing or post, or maybe Chad just saw something he didn't like in audio or something. You know what I mean? It's deleted scene, so it's nothing crazy. What I would really say is take a look at the other special features, which has some awesome stuff in it. So there's Retro Wick, exploring the unexpected success of John Wick. That's like Chad and Leach and everybody, Reeves, all talking about how one blew up and they didn't expect it to. I think Gaz and I have covered this on other previous episodes, but obviously one, Reeves put, I think, 20 million of his own money in one because they were having trouble finishing it. And talk about money well spent, because two almost made 200 million on a 40 million budget. So insane. Training John Wick, which is what Gaz was talking about. That shows training with the BJJ legends, the Machado brothers. I think it's called 8911. I think is the stunt crew. It has a lot of takes from all of those dudes working with Reeves and getting him ready, like Gaz said, training him the moves. Then talk about training him shooting, training fighting, and training driving, which Wick does some of those 360s and the driving. Then I forgot what Wick Vizd was. I think that's what I'm about to queue up over there. And then there's a few other things. Carfu, Ride Along, Evolution, Chamber Check, Evolution of a Fight Scene, Wick's Toolbox, Kill Count, Dog Wick Short. I'm not sure what the Dog Wick Short is. And then there's commentary with Reeves and Stelsky. So I would highly recommend it. And of course, if you're like a digital type guy, like don't be scared to buy hard copies, guys, because most of the time, if they're cool, they'll give you a digi to load into your computer. And you know what I mean? If you lose your CD or something, you won't lose the movie. So, but yeah, definitely check it out if you're a hard copy person.
Yeah. So do you want to get into a little bit before we get into, final ratings? We get into a little bit on John Wick 5 and John Wick 6. So what's the latest that you've heard in John Wick 5?
The last thing I saw was like a Facebook post. Again, we have the game trailer, which just dropped. So, Saber Interactive, I'm really getting into their games lately. I just played their new demo. It's awesome. So I was ranting to him about that. The last thing I heard about 5 was like Wick was like Reeves was going into pre-production. They're start training him. And they said they're taking up the ante to the fights, to the intensity, to be the most extreme best thing that they've ever done, because the idea was, even though people thought 4 would be the last, the idea was like 5 might be the last, just due to the shape that, I don't think Keanu is going to want to do him forever, other than like doing his voice for games and animated and stuff. So that's the last thing I heard, was just like to expect the most intense. I think their fight choreography, they're going to have Reeves ready to just do something crazy. So that's all. I don't know much. It's really under wraps.
Well, it's going to be continued to John Wick 6, bro. It's really going to be taken up to another level, because in John Wick 6, this is what I've heard, is John meets another John, and that is Big John Fury, because it's going to be John Fury fighting, man. I don't need no training, because I'm ready now.
Can defeat John Wick. No man alive.
Sausage.
John Fury. You Dawson, no man alive. Shout out to Tyson. He's got a Netflix fight coming up. Me and Gaz are big fans of the Furies, but John Fury's the most entertaining man. Yeah. I don't know. John Wick versus John Fury. I don't know. Maybe Wick meets his match. No man alive.
John is there, and that's it. John just punches him out, man. Disclosure day, maybe in there as well. Saucer appears in the sky. John, as you said the other day, John just
right out of his UFO crash. So, yeah, it's a whole other movie.
Yeah. So it's coming soon for fighting men.
No man alive can defeat my son. The only thing, sorry that it just evolved, guys, but that's Gaz's segment there, guys. You can blame him for that. I mean, again, sure. Am I fanning the flame? Sure, I am. Okay, gotta have some fun here. But other than 5, and then like me and Gaz said, the Kane, the Donnie Yen Kane character spinoff, which, like I said, I really don't want to see every character in the universe spun off. But when you have Donnie Yen, who's a generational talent, and then they're shooting it in Hong Kong, like I was paying attention closely, so I'm sure we'll get a trailer. The only other thing I'll throw out for Gaz before we do our ratings is we've been talking about Normal, which is Bob Odenkirk.
Oh, yeah.
In the middle of the nowhere town. He's obviously, his first 2 action movies were Nobody and Nobody 2, which me and Gaz reviewed. And he's obviously like fighting Yakuza in the middle of a nowhere town. Which, I mean, there's some trailers out. They look awesome. Love Odenkirk. So me and Gaz will cover that for you again. So put that in the mix as well for the, kind of give that John Wick 4 kind of Asian Yakuza Hong Kong style flair. With that, guys, we can do our ratings. If you guys have seen the film, you can care to rate it with us. See my man Lauren's messaging me. I will. I'll shoot back at you, my brother. But we're just gonna handle business right now and see what we can come up with. I'm really high on this, guys, because I still, like I said, 1 was absolutely awesome, but I just thought like the editing, the extra budget, like I think the extra budget that they got for 2 like nailed what they needed to make it the clean cameras, the clean music, the sleek look, the cinematography, the lighting, like all these things Gaz was mentioning, all the references to all these other action homages and Enter the Dragon and Kurosawa. It just comes together in this perfect kung fu masterpiece. It's got a 7.4 on IMDb, and I gave it, it's almost 570,000 reviews. I gave it a 9 out of 10 because it's too epic.
Yeah.
John Wick Chapter 2.
Well, I am the same, 9 out of 10. Not just for the action, the way the scenes are set up, the way it flows. Very, very good choreography. I like the gunplay as well. The way they're holding, the way they're holding the weapons, the way the weapons are used, the subtleties, Ross, as we mentioned throughout the film, as the latest one we're on about the food on the table or to mafia kind of movies. Everything is there, then backed up by some very good acting. Ian McShane as Winston throughout the series, I think, is the absolutely incredible. But even minor characters, like I said, Cassian is good. Has limited lines, but has got a good presence. Then backed up by further by the filming, the camera angles. Those are great. The way the movie ends as well, Ross, it doesn't just cut. It's a really nice blend to the credits. So absolutely 9 out of 10. I'm pretty much. I was saying to Ross, folks, I need to see 4 again because I'm between 2 and 4. And which one is the favorite out of the series? It's either 2 or 4 for sure.
I'm close. I loved 2. Obviously, our boy Skarsgård from Boy Kills World plays like the kind of French Illuminaire in 4. I mean, I'm super close. I think I've seen 2. Like obviously, like I said, I was just in Italy when 2 came out. I think I've seen 2 more, so I'm a bit too biased. I think I've only seen 4 twice, but.
And I think you revealed the title for John Wick 6 as well as No Man Alive, No Man Alive coming soon.
This was where 2 was Never Stab the Devil in the Back. 6 was No Man Alive, Tommy Fury versus John Wick in the final boss.
Fighting men.
And we're fighting. The Furies are fighting at John Wick versus the Furies. I think Gaz discovered the plot. It's John Fury has a seat at the high table, and John Wick has to fight all of the Furies to take out the high table. Okay, we're getting off the reservation here. What else was I going to say about that? Oh, the European actors, outstanding. The European sets, obviously Rome and Montreal. It's not technically Europe, but it's much different than the usual American aesthetic. So just the way that they had all those units to shoot the different cities, and we mentioned this in chapter 4 as well, because they obviously shot Paris, and I think it was that Kyoto or Okinawa. It was one of them when they were in or it was one of those cities in Japan. See what we got. Obviously, you guys know the cast. I'll do like a little bit of development. There's really not that much on here. We'll try to cover music and just some of the basics. Development, February 15, Stelsky and Leach stated that Wick sequel had begun. In the same month, CEO of Lionsgate stated that we see John Wick as a multiple title franchise. And that's why I like Lionsgate. Me and Gaz shout them a lot because they're, as the modern actions, Sisu, Boy Kills World, Wicks, they're holding it down. I like how they're not afraid of the hard R. They're not afraid of the violence, the kung fu, the martial arts, the weapons.
Sisu too. Yeah, go see, folks.
So it's just awesome. And then, additionally, it was reported that Kolstad returned to the screenplay. It was confirmed that the sequel was greenlit. Lionsgate would be selling the film at Cannes Film Festival. Reeves and Stelsky appeared in a 30-minute AOL build interview in February 2017 to discuss the development of the casting of the film. What does AOL even do anymore? They're like a blog now. Like that's where Reeves and Stelsky pop up. You got to see that AOL interview, dude. I don't know that I've ever met someone that's read AOL, but cool. It's the internet. Casting. It was announced that Reeves, Leach, and Stelsky will return with filming set in October 15. Common joined to play the head of security for a female crime lord. Ian McShane was confirmed as Winston, owner of the Continental. Bridget Monahan, John Leguizamo, Thomas Sadowski, Lance Reddick were confirmed. Ruby Rose, Ricardo Scarmicio, Peter Stormare added to the cast. due to Michael Nyquist having health problems. December 2015, it was announced that Lauren Fishburne would appear in a supporting role. Reeves was trained in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu by the Mikado brothers for the role. Filming, principal photography on the film began in October 26, 2015, New York City. At the end of the first week, filming had taken place in Manhattan. Filming then moved to Rome and later resumed in Montreal on October 28th. Studio shots were located in New Jersey. Filming locations, as me and Gaz said, Wick Chapter 2, mostly shot on location New York and Rome. Continental scene was in reality the Beaver Building in Manhattan, and its rooftop was filmed separately on the roof garden of the Rockefeller Plaza. John Wick's house was shot at 121 Mill Neck, Long Island, New York. The Continental Hotel in Rome was filmed at the Museo Centrale del, not going to say the rest of it, located next to the Roman Forum. The scene of Gianna's coronation party was shot near the ruins of the baths of Caracalla. I thought that was, dude, you should look up what that looks like, guys. That's freaking amazing set in the ruins. Some scenes taking place in the New York City subway were filmed within the Montreal Metro. Music, Tyler Bates and Joel Richard returned to write and compose. I think these guys crush it. I love their music for the whole franchise. Yeah. Along with the return of La Castlevania and the Sisandra Nostalgia. She was the artist performing at the concert, guys. The soundtrack has featured Alice in Chains guitarist, co-lead vocalist Jerry Cantrell, and the song A Job to Do, whose lyrics were written by Cantrell from the perspective of Keanu Reeves' character.
Interesting.
Another reason why I love that song and why Jerry Cantrell is the man. Actually saw him not long ago. Dude is the man. The theatrical stuff, home media, released on DVD, Blu-ray, and Ultra HD. I don't have the Ultra HD, sadly, but I'm pretty happy with what I got. 175 million, like I told you guys, 90.5 mil in its first 9 days, surpassing the entire theatrical gross of the first film. Won't go through it all. Accolades at the 2017 Golden Awards, Wick received a nomination for Best Action with Vengeance and won Best Action TV Spot for Big Vengeance. Mark Stoker, Alan Rickon, and Andy Koyamaya, Martin Zub, and Gabe Serrano Formosa Group were nominated for Outstanding Sound Feature Film. Yeah, I mean, the sound team, insane, guys. I love the sound effects and the editing. The film received nominations at Empire for Best Thriller and Best Stunt Work at the LA Online Film Critics Society. Like, I totally, me and guys have mentioned this, dude. Hollywood has got to add a Best Stunt Oscar, but because I think every year a Wick movie drops, they're close to making it. You know, once in a while, like actually, Cruise did something crazy in the last Mission Impossible, definitely. But when a Wick movie drops, I think it's pretty hard to outdo the stunt team, as guys was saying. And of course, the sequel in October 16, Stelsky stated a third film, Chapter 3, Parabellum, was in the works. And you guys can go check out me and Gaz's review of that. But I think we're probably out, guys. Not really too much Wick news other than the video game. Like we said, rumors of 5. I want to see what's up with that animated movie. I wonder if it will drop on Netflix or whatever, guys.
Yeah, the same, folks. Let's see what happens next. Fantastic film. And if you've not seen it, go see it. Yeah. Just want to do another shout for Camera X before we wrap it up.
Yep, check it out on Tubi, free, guys. Again, like we said, if you want to help us out, feel free to wish list it, share it on your socials. That'd help out too, or share the trailer. You can see it under my shorts section. You can see the main trailer on my channel, main trailer on Lauren's channel. And while you're there, you can go check out Dark Military if you wish. Like we said, Skate to Hell. Check out that trailer. It's going to drop in a couple weeks. Obviously, the thing expanded, dropping soon. And then we'll get a Days of Sodom update for you guys when we get one. But in the meantime, just come in and tune in with us next week for Clockwork Orange. Malcolm McDowell, Stanley Kubrick, one of the most epic films of all time, at least certainly as a British production. So definitely join us for that, guys. Go subscribe to Mosh. And like we said, me and Gazzy will be having some streams for Toxic Commando and other things that we're playing. I do mine over on the twitch.tv/PlanetXGames, but sometimes Gaz does them on his stuff. And a lot of new beat 'em ups dropping, a lot of new ninja stuff. Toxic Crusaders got pushed way back, guys. So, you know what I mean? We still got, of course, we still have Toxie with us rolling hard. But as soon as we get an update on Toxic Crusaders, definitely expect to see that on the Twitch and the streams. Me and Gaz are playing with whatever new beat 'em ups and ninja stuff drop. If you have recommendations, feel free to drop them in the live chat, drop them in the comments below, and we will, like as always, You can click the join button for membership, get 24-hour early access to the Zodiac Files, Episode 5, the Lake Herman Road Ambush, and Episode 6, the Blue Rock Springs Attack. I have updates on those as soon as I'm able. In the meantime, it's just looking like, Camera X, Skate to Hell, Days of Sodom when it drops, guys. Of course, you can get merch under the spring page. You can get our comic book, The Dark Rift Volume 1. That is on Amazon as well, so haven't popped that off in a minute. But we got things you can support if you're looking to support. We don't ask for much, guys. As always, just watch Camera X free on Tubi, watch list it, like our stuff, share our stuff free, subscribe to my channel, subscribe to Gaz's channel. We don't ask for much over here, guys. But if you feel free to take it to the next level, you can get the comic book or some PXF merch. We got whatever you want, T-shirts, hoodies, coffee mugs. You know what I mean? Go crazy. So with that, Gaz and I will probably just pop out and like, sub, share. Click the join button for a membership and sub both channels. Join us next week for Stanley Kubrick's A Clockwork Orange. I believe we're pretty close to the anniversary. We're close to the anniversary on this one, and we're close to the anniversary on that one too. Once we drop Clockwork, we'll drop the March schedule for you guys, which we got. I'm pumped about the March schedule, guys. We got some really good picks in there, covering something for St. Patty's. Of course, the Cillian Murphy, Immortal Man, Peaky Blinders solo movies dropping on Netflix next month. Looks really good. So we'll hopefully be covering that for you guys. And then Normal when it drops, some stuff dropping in April as well. But we're going to start with the PXF Classic, and that's going to be Highlander 1, 1979, which is an interesting conversation because Chad Stahelski of John Wick's is helming the new Highlander reboot with Henry Cavill. So a little bit of a tie-in here. It's pretty awesome how we did John Wick, and then we're going to do original Highlander, and then hopefully when they drop like a Highlander trailer, it will hopefully be good. That sounds crazy to me, dude. The John Wick director taking on a Highlander movie, because his fights are going to be crazy with the swordplay, guys, and
just think how they could show Kurgan.
Oh my gosh, I'm trying to think.
Yeah.
I did send you something about that. I remember when I saw it.
Yeah.
So we won't spoiler it for the fans, but yeah, guys. Shout out to Pixie. Thank you for the links. And of course, if you guys want to go crazy, go over to the Patreon. You can join for free with the Gmail. I am going to get some Most Dangerous Game, some more stuff on there. I've kind of covered all the relevant ones from the 80s and early 90s, but the rabbit hole goes pretty deep as Gaz
Samurai Cop.
This guy's crazy. Don't listen to this guy. But I will do him one better. Deadliest Prey. If you can believe sequel. Yeah. And then there's a 2022 remake of the Most Dangerous Game that I've never seen. Some weird action movie. There is that one that Bisping was promoted, guys. I think I told you about. I forgot what it was called, but that's like a Most Dangerous Game style, like forced fight tournament. So that should be interesting when we have a trailer. All right, guys. That's that. Hopefully, if there's some new action, kung fu martial arts fight movies. But like we said, if we get a trailer for that Donnie Yen Kane movie, honestly, I think that would be a lot stronger than Ballerina. So we got to see how that all turns out. So thanks for joining us, John Wick Chapter 2. My favorite in the series, although as Gaz said, there's some very good ones, including Chapter 4, which was the last one out. So go check those out. Like the trailers. I think they're all on HBO, the Wick movies. So if you stream, you got to go deal with that sort of thing. If you're like me, you can just order the Blu-ray on Amazon. It's a lot easier. And plus, like Lauren said, if the world ever collapses, I'm gonna be needing these very, very close to my heart. So won't be able to come in my house and take the hard copies away. Be a sad day, harkening back to the old book burnings. This guy owns too many action movies. That'll be the next censored thing. Me and Gaz won't be allowed to watch martial arts, and then the channel will cease to exist. Probably the best outro I've ever had.
Yeah. No man alive. No man alive.
No man alive is allowed to watch any martial arts Blu-ray movies. No man alive. Shout out to, I stole that from Bisping. Give Bisping a subscribe. Thank you, Pixie. All right, guys. True crime updates for you soon. I'm going to work on some things in the background, maybe get 1 or 2 interviews booked. And episode 5 main series will be coming soon. I can guarantee. No, it's in production. I'll just leave it at that right now. Ross Wick, Jack Death, Mosh Shinobi, sub both channels, like, sub, share. John Wick, Chapter 2. If you haven't seen it, go rock it out. Go watch them all. But yeah, you know what I mean? Get caught up, and then get caught up, and maybe we'll cover new chapters in the future. We're out. Clockwork Orange next week. Go like, sub, share. Go check it out. And watch. Make sure you guys review Clockwork if you want to review it with us and give us a rating.
Yeah. Sure. Take care, folks.
This would be, if the only movie left was Reservoir Dogs, it would be Gaz's personal hell. He probably wants to watch a movie or something.